Hey everyone, Eric here in the school greenhouse per usual, and welcome back to our channel. If you're new to the channel, hi, I'm Eric. I'm one of the education specialists for Easton Bank's Learning and Life Center, where I oversee the Project Grape program. Here on this channel, we discuss a lot of different things dealing with gardening, social, emotional learning, being a better human being to the planet, but also to your other fellow human beings. Please, before you leave today, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, share this video. For those that have already joined our lovely community here over on YouTube, thanks so much for joining us. Today's video, we will be discussing the top 10 seeds that you can start right now here in March to plant out in early spring when your last frost comes. So we have already started the process of growing our tomatoes in the greenhouse with the students. We have, I think, 3 to 4 new varieties of tomatoes that we're trying out this school year with the students. And I'm really excited because this one here called Orange Jazz, I'll put a picture up on the screen for you. It looks so pretty. It has a little streaking formation on the flesh of the tomato fruit itself. And I just can't wait to see how well it grows here in the garden. We also have our lovely black cherry tomatoes. This plant we got from our local nursery. Last year I think we got roughly 2 plants and we were able to save a lot of seeds, and they actually germinated, which is awesome, because I was a little nervous that they wouldn't germinate since we haven't grown them for a year. So the seeds are still good. And as you can see, they are getting bigger, and soon they'll have their true leaves, which will allow us to transplant them. So you should definitely get on your tomato planting. Try new varieties, because you always see the same type of tomatoes in the store: your Roma, your beefsteak, your vine, and your cherry tomatoes. But there are so many different types of tomato varieties out there that you can try in your garden right now. Here in the school garden, we have started to try out this growing method of planting your seed, especially for like peppers and eggplants. Doing your seeds like this with the plastic wrap, planting your seed, watering the seeds in, and then covering them, creating somewhat of a miniature greenhouse effect where you don't have to water because the water is being captured through condensation. And as you can see right here, we've already taken off the plastic for these Lesa. I'll put the name in the picture up. Lesa peppers. They have already started to germinate, which is awesome. So I wanted to take off the cover so the leaves could expand a little bit more. We've started so many different peppers so far. We've done the Lesa, like I just mentioned. We've done jalapeno, sweet peppers like the regular bell peppers. We've done this orange bell pepper, which we weren't successful at growing last year, but I hope that we do a better job this year with growing them. We also have serrano peppers, cayenne peppers. The banana peppers last year were so great. They were so beautiful, they got so big, and I can't wait to grow them in their pots because they're going to provide such a large harvest. The next plants that you should definitely be growing right now are your eggplants. So eggplants take quite a while to grow. Just like peppers, they need a consistent temperature to which they can germinate. So you want to be able to get them in their containers now, germinating, or at least providing them, you know, the temperature and light that they need in order to germinate. Because, for example, here in Georgia, I believe our last frost day is April 22nd. Correct me if I'm wrong if you're in Georgia too, but I do believe it did say the almanac, Farmer's Almanac said April 22nd. So that's what, 4-6 weeks away. And by the time the frost passes, you want to be able to put your plants out, at least start to get them acclimated to the outside weather, especially if you're growing them inside, like in a greenhouse or in your garage, in your home. You want to be able to get them used in and out to the weather outside, the rain, the wind, pests, things like that. So you don't want to waste too much time with growing eggplants. And we have a few eggplants that we're going to be growing this year. The main one are the Black Beauty eggplant. We have not been successful at growing this type of eggplant variety, but if I do have the seed packet, we grew, where is it at? We grew the early long pepper. Those did pretty well. And we also grew these, the Listada de Gandia eggplant. These are so beautiful. We were able to, I think we grew these back in 2022, and we harvested at least 4 eggplant before the eggplant just succumbed to the heat. So this was a really good plant to try out. The next few plants that you can definitely start right now are herbs. You have rosemary, basil, and cilantro. Now right here, we have our very own baby rosemary right here. Everybody say happy birthday. This surprisingly was the only rosemary that wanted to germinate, and I've been paying very, very close attention to it. I've been making sure it stayed watered, not too watered, so it didn't drown in its own water. But as you can see, it's been very, very healthy. It's grown for the past 2 weeks very fast. Like when it first grew, it had, you know, the little baby leaves, and it was at that stage for quite a bit. But ever since 2 weeks ago, it's been growing steadily and it's getting bigger. So that's awesome. We also have cilantro back here growing in a bucket along with some radish. So we're gonna probably transplant that in another week or so. We also surprisingly still have cilantro in the garden. The cilantro outlasted 2 frosts that we had that kill a lot of the frost hardy plants, which is like shocking. So it's crazy how cilantro can withstand some extreme temperatures. We're gonna harvest from some of the cilantro come this week when we donate some more produce to another family. And yeah, we're gonna transplant this cilantro out probably in another 2 weeks, just in time for it to get accustomed to the weather outside of the greenhouse. Some flowers that you should definitely try out this spring, well, right now actually, for your spring garden are borage, chamomile, and some cosmos. Now we have all of these plants growing right now, and I'm going to show you. We have cosmos here. These actually need to be transplanted, but as you can see, they have grown very well. And then we have our first 2 borage plants, borage flowers of the 2024 garden season. And they look very healthy, very cute. Yeah, so this is not our first time growing cosmos or borage. Borage did very well at the community garden, but the deer really ate it, really loved it. It was either deer or rabbits. Either one, they devoured the borage there. We only have 1 borage plant left, and I'm sure by the time I go back and check, it's gonna be gone. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. But we're gonna transplant those, not transplant, but up pot those flowers and get them in their own pots so they don't overcrowd one another. And borage and cosmos are such beautiful flowers. That's why I wanted the students to grow them, to see that not only can you grow beautiful vegetables in different shapes and sizes, but you can also grow flowers in different shapes and sizes and colors and scents, because borage is such a beautiful, has a nice scent to it. And chamomile, as you already know, can be used in teas and other herbal remedies. So those types of flowers are so great to have in your garden. And the last plant that you should definitely be growing right now is celeriac. It smells so good. Look, I'm in my influencer bag. So celeriac is a root crop, and It's related to celery, of course, but it's a root crop and it's used, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that it's used mainly in like some European dishes, European cuisines. But correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But it smells wonderful, and I'm so happy and proud of the students for growing these because the seeds are super tiny. And if you know anything about gardening, you know that growing plants from very, very, very tiny seeds, seeds that are smaller than tomato seeds, you know that it is very difficult. And so kudos to the students here at the school. All right, you guys, that is the video. Those are just 10 plants of many varieties that you can grow, well, start growing right now in your garden, in your greenhouse, in your garage, in your dining room, just to prepare for them to be transplanted out in spring once your last frost comes, okay? Let us know in the comments what plants you're starting right now. If you just couldn't wait to get your plant started. We're taking a slower approach this year because last year, due to me having some issues with family and family emergencies, I couldn't be here in the garden like I normally am every single day, planting plants out into the garden, tending to the garden. And so a lot of our tomatoes and tomatillos got root bound, and a lot of the flowers, a lot of our plants got root bound last year. We did have a great harvest, but it came with a lot of challenges due to the plants being root bound. So we're taking a slower approach, a more calculated approach when planting with the students to make sure that we don't just plant everything at once. We want to make sure that we have a staggered harvest and we are able to just transplant out plants every other week, not all at once. So that's a good tip to make sure that you don't overburden yourself with too many plants because it can get stressful. But all in all, we are excited for this year's planting and growing. Let us know in the comments, like I said, what you're planning to grow this year. Don't forget to follow us on our socials. We can be found on Facebook and Instagram at EBLLCINC and on TikTok at Project Grape. You can also support us in our programming by clicking the link in the description box. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and we will see you all later in the garden. Bye.